All right, the linear functions practice worksheet. Which of the following points lies on the graph of the line? So for each of these, you want to plug in the given ordered pair and see if it makes a true statement. So if I plug in the point 0, 4, I'm going to replace y with 4, x with 0. I get 4 is equal to -2, not a true statement. So 0, 4 can't be on the graph of the line. If I plug in 2, 8, 8 equals 5 times 2 minus 2. So I replace y with 8, x with 2. I get 8 is equal to 8. That is a true statement. So the answer to number 1 would be the point 2, 8. Which of the following is an equation of the line graphed? Okay, when I look at this line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My y-intercept is 6. So looking at my multiple choice, I can automatically eliminate the first 3. Okay, the only option that has a y-intercept of +6 is option number 4. But let's make sure the slope is verified. So my slope triangle, I come down 2 and right 1. So down 2 to the right 1, my slope is in fact -2. All right, number 3, a cell phone plan charges a flat monthly fee of $15.25 and an additional 7 cents per hour spent talking on the phone. Which of the following functions gives the cost of the cell phone plan as a function of the number of hours? Flat fee and a per hour cost. So your flat fee, that's your y-intercept. Okay, before talking at all, you're paying $15.25 a month. Your slope, so that keyword per is your keyword for a rate. Okay, your slope is a rate of change. So if I plug this into my y equals mx plus b form, okay, the only difference here, the cost is c, so my y value is c, and my x value is h. All right, so looking at those, it matches the equation in number 1. Which of the following is the slope of the line? Slope is the change in our y values divided by the change in our x values. 15 minus 5 divided by 1 minus -3. So that gives me 10/4, and 10/4 reduces to 5/2. Okay, if I start with the point 1, 15 for my y, then on my x's I have to do the same. Which of the following is an equation of a line? Okay, we have 3 options for this. We have slope-intercept form, we have standard form, but looking at the equations that are written, they're given in point slope form. Okay, so every line we need to first determine the slope. -2 minus -5 divided by 1 minus -9. Change in y over change in x. So this gives me +3 all over 10. So when I look at my answer options, equation number 2 and equation number 4 aren't right because my slope needs to be +3/10. And now when I look at the point that's given, the equation is written through the point 1, -2. So y minus the y coordinate of the given point is equal to the slope times x minus the x coordinate of the given point. Minus a negative becomes y plus 2. So the equation in number 3 is our answer. All right, which equation below could describe the graph? Okay, 2 defining features. My line is increasing. Okay, so since my line is increasing, that tells me that my slope has to be positive. So looking at my answer options, I can automatically eliminate numbers 2 and 4. Secondly, my y-intercept my y-intercept is a negative number, okay, because it intersects the y-axis below the x-axis. So what's the only option that has a positive slope and a negative y-intercept? That would be the equation in answer option 3. All right, number 7, a line with a slope of 5 passes through the given point. Which of the following is the value of the y-intercept? Okay, so we got a lot of things going on here. First, we are given information about a line. We're given the point and the slope. So I'm going to write my point slope form. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Y minus the y coordinate of the point given is equal to the slope times x minus the x coordinate of the point given. All right, that's the first thing. We want to know what's the y-intercept. So we've discussed the y-intercept is found by setting x equal to 0 and solving for y. So into my equation, I'm going to replace my x with 0, and that allows me to solve for y. Okay, everything else around it has a value. So y minus 8 equals 5. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Y equals negative 15. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. And then I have to add 8 to both sides to get y alone. So my y-intercept would have a value of negative 7. So writing equations of lines, it's all about being able to look at the given information, which of my 3 equations make sense to write, and then whatever other given information I have, I would use that. Okay, write the equation of a line. Now it's telling us to write it in slope-intercept form that passes through the given points. Show how you arrived at the values of m and b. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to find my slope. 13 minus negative 15 divided by 5 minus negative 2. Okay, that gives me 28 divided by 7, so that's nice. Gives me a slope of 4. I have my slope and I have 2 points. I'm going to start with point slope form. And I'm going to use the point 5, 13. Doesn't matter which point you choose. Y minus the y coordinate of the point I chose is equal to the slope times x minus the x coordinate of the point I chose. When I look at slope-intercept form, I need to get y alone. Okay? So first things first, I'm going to add 13 to both sides. So y is alone, but it's still not in this form. So my next step, I'm going to distribute my 4. I get 4x minus 20 plus 13. And then lastly, I have to combine my like terms. So 4x, negative 20 plus 3 is equal to negative 7. So there's the equation of my line in the appropriate form. If that piece of information was missing and it just said write the equation of a line, this would be totally acceptable. Point slope form is one of the forms we use. So if it didn't give you a specific direction, that's totally fine. All right, and now lastly, graphing. So y equals x minus 2. This is slope-intercept form. My slope is positive 1. My y-intercept is negative 2. So I'll graph this one in red. Y-intercept of negative 2, slope of 1. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Or I could come down 1, left 1. So how many points determine a line? 2 points determine a line. So I did not need all of those on there, but it was easy enough to do anyway. All right, my next one we talked about in standard form, getting your x and y intercepts. So if I were to cover up my x value and solve for y, I would get y is equal to 2. That one's nice and easy. If I were to cover up my y value and solve for x, I would get x is equal to 4/3. So we talked about in class that's not acceptable for graphing because it's not an integer. So I'm going to get it in mx plus b form. So first I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Then I'm going to divide every single term by 2. And I get y is equal to negative 3 halves x plus 2. Well, now I can use the same method as before. We'll do this in orange. My y-intercept is 2, and I have a slope of negative 3 halves. So I can go 1, 2, 3, up 3 and to 2. Or I can go 1, 2, 3, down 3 and to the right 2. So we practiced in class, sorry about that. We practiced in class really finding points on both sides of the y-intercept. Now when I connect those, there's my line. We didn't talk a whole lot about these, but these types of lines, y is equal to negative 4. This is a horizontal line. So if I think about where y is equal to negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If my y value is only ever allowed to equal negative 4, it doesn't matter what my x value is. Every single point on this line has a y coordinate of negative 4. So using sort of the same line of reasoning, when I go to graph x is equal to negative 2, this graph will be a vertical line. So if I look at where x is equal to negative 2, every single point above and below that negative 2 is also going to have an x coordinate of negative 2. Okay. Check your work. You receive credit for completing the assignment, and then you'll receive credit for checking the assignment. Thank you, everyone.